everybody, let's take a look at the news for March 24th, 2022. So, just last week, the Gamma Expo, the Game and Manufacturers Association, they have a trade show in which different publishers, designers, but mostly it's for the local game stores to get together. They get together to talk shop, give each other ways to make the stores better, to meet the publishers face to face, to see the products coming out for the coming year. So attendance was 1,360, which is slightly down from 2020, although again, it kind of bookends. Gamma is bookending the pandemic here because it was the last U.S. convention that happened before the pandemic. In fact, people were pulling out right and left right before the show.
Sure.
And now we're post-Omicron, so I know some people didn't go because of that. But still, that's a pretty good thing. All indications are news person from Dice Tower Now. Corey was there, and lots of games were being shown off, but the majority of games that were shown off, from what he told me, was stuff coming to Kickstarter. But a very interesting piece of news that I thought, there's a lot of people that were there, not there, but Peachtree Hobby Distribution was there. They're one of the big five, PhD, of distributors. They were the only distributor there. When I've gone in the past, all the big distributors were there. ACD, Alliance, GTS, Southern Hobby. Only one was there. What does that mean, Mr. Buonocore?
And I did not hear that. Thank you for bringing this up. I can't give you a reason why. Peachtree, by the way, is the smallest of the big five. And I think sort of Southern Hobby has left the big five. I don't believe that they're doing games, and if they are, they're doing very, very few games at this point. Why an ACD? ACD's had some issues recently. GTS certainly is surging, and Alliance is doing well. Don't know why they would simply pass up on a reason to be in front of the people they sell to. So yeah, that's a big I don't know.
I read what some of the publishers, some of the local game store owners said that they liked talking to publishers, and many publishers are now selling directly to local game stores, which is an interesting turn of events, especially with Kickstarter, occurring.
Yeah, certainly that's the case where some of the, some of the bigger ones are now selling direct, but that whole middle tier is not. Everybody that goes through PSI, everybody that goes through impressions. There's a lot of people who use distribution, so why they wouldn't be there to wave the flag, especially also as maybe not our audience knows, but as you know, the Gamma structure, the structure of the organization now puts distributors at the same level as publishers, as retailers, as content creators. They have a board seat now for all of those parts of the industry. So the representation there would even be more important. So this is very interesting. I'm going to do some investigative reporting on my own to try to figure out why this happened.
All right. Well, in less investigative reporting news, Tilt 5 is partnering with Asmodee Digital to bring in 3D holographic environments. If you could look at this picture here, folks, you see these people playing a game here. They're actually exhibiting at a conference that's going on this weekend, or right now, actually, the Game Developers Conference, which is not particularly a board game or even a tabletop convention. It's a lot to do with video games, although there is a tabletop subsection. I know several people in the industry are at this show right now.
Huh.
I'm sorry?
I said, huh.
I still am not convinced. I'm still not convinced by this particular technology. Like this, companies keep pushing this whole idea. They want Star Wars, where they're playing the game on the table. And that still hasn't happened. We still haven't seen anything like really break into the market. We have several of these giant iPad devices where people are playing on the table. We've had several augmented reality things where you use your phone and look at something. And Catan tried to do that VR thing, looking around in glasses. And all this stuff is kind of just, none of it has taken off with the consumer yet.
So Tom, this is an actual system that you buy, and then and then you start playing the game that in a 3D virtual reality. Is that what
I think you play the game. and you look, and it's going to be a tabletop hologram. It says it's using Catan, Ticket to Ride, Gloomhaven, Terraforming Mars, Pandemic. That's big stuff. But this whole idea of sitting around a table where we're all wearing AR glasses and a wand motion controller just sounds like only the geekiest of geeks are going to grab this at first. So I don't know. At the same time, I do remember scoffing at the idea that people would use a smartphone to play board games.
Yeah, my usual question here is, do you need to buy a new game for this or something like that, or new components for this, or you're just taking your Terraforming Mars and now you're playing it in a 3D environment?
I guess we'll find out more.
Mars, when you buy Terraforming Mars, the board game, Buonocore, it already is 3D, okay? I don't know what flat game you've been playing.
It looks like you need to buy AR glasses,
right,
a retro reflective game board, and a wand motion controller for the low price of who knows, but it ain't going to be cheap.
No,
retro reflective game board. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds cool.
I feel like these systems are going to continue to fail until someone hitches their wagon to goggles that have already taken off, like going to, say, PlayStation or Oculus Rift or whatever, and being like, you use this and maybe this other component that you buy. But you've already got these. This technology is doing well already. Not trying to start something from the literal ground up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's too much competition when you've already got Google kicking you, you know, and PlayStation.
Right.
You need to slip in with them, with those big players. I just don't see it happening, you know? Tilt 5? No, it's not Google.
All right, let's talk about some games now. Acropolis. This is from Zee Garcia with Hachette. This is Acropolis spelled with a K. Zee Garcia has mostly done abstract strategy, and when I read through the description here, where you're placing polyomino tiles or groups of hexagons, this sounds like abstract strategy, but that cover does not look like it.
Yeah, the cover looks cool.
Then we have Northgard, Uncharted Lands. This is also from Studio H, another Hachette company, and this is based on a popular video game. This is coming to retail in August 2022. I feel like I remember seeing this on Kickstarter, but I might be misremembering.
You know, this one caught my eye. I actually went ahead and looked it up on BGG, and the main thing that caught my eye was the designer. This is a designer that has done very few games, and I remembered his name because he's done a game, Tom, you might have played ages ago called Moai, which was Moai has like the, you know, Easter Island, and it's this card-driven game, but very confrontational game. I don't know if you remember that, where you could like literally burn other people's Moais down, and like really, it was a violent, minimalistic game. Very interesting game, but he has like 3 designs. That's it. And this was like 2007. And now his name crops up again. So I looked up this game. Looks really neat. And I'm interested in seeing this person come back to, you know, to the table and seeing what they've been working on. So this is one I'll be keeping an eye on myself.
My comment on this is Hachette. Hachette is going to become a major player in the industry. They are a huge company, hugely capitalized, publicly held, no, not publicly held, but they are owned by even a bigger company. So this is another piece of them pushing hard into the industry.
Okay, I got to say, cool. I think of all the companies of all the booths at Gen Con in 2021, the Hachette booth was the most interesting one. They had a lot of cool games coming, and I'm always excited.
Hachette is the 4th largest book publisher in the world, the 1st largest in France.
Is Hachette and Studio H the same thing? No, right?
Studio H is underneath Hachette.
Yeah, Hachette bought Studio H, or they developed Studio H, and I know and so they are the same company.
Got it. Very cool. Very exciting.
All right, so from the Gamma Trade Show, there was a lot of different games, but one that got a lot of buzz. I saw many people saying this is a game to look out for. Is this next game called Boop, which if I hadn't heard the buzz, I would have just like booped right on by this one because I didn't think much about it. But then I read it's a spiritual successor to the 2019 abstract game Shobu, which I really like that game.
Cute game, yep.
But this one. You think Shobu is a cute game?
Well, it's a nice, cool game for 2 players. That's what I meant. I love the production of that game. I don't mean cute like cats. Just nice, simple, works great. Sorry.
Well, this one is a cute game.
This one's cute.
It's 6x6 grid, and you're pushing meeples around. You got to make 3 kittens to make a cat, and 3 cats to claim dominance. It sounds like a very simple get things in a row game. I love that style. I don't love this cover, by the way, but like I said, there was a lot of buzz. This was the one. There was 2 games at the thing I heard a lot about. This was one of the 2.
Okay, 3 kittens to make a cat, huh? So it's a Frankenstein game. Got it.
No, it sounds like one of those merge games on you never played an app game where you like take 3 things, put them next to each other?
A match 3 kind of game. Yeah. Okay, that's neat.
All right, the next game is called Venn. The first game ever about a Venn diagram. When I say first, I mean it's the first to come out this year because there's about 2 million games with Venn diagrams. But this one here, they're claiming it combines Dixit and code names, which sounds like a bunch of buzzwords.
Yeah, it really does.
Quick, pick 2 popular board games. This is like both of them. Now, actually, though, this does look better than most of the other Venn diagram games. By the way, one of the Venn diagram games is made by Matt Leacock of Pandemic fame.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that game, as did everyone else in the world.
To the point where, for some reason, the name isn't even coming to my mind. I forget the name of that game.
Yeah. When you said Venn diagram games, I actually what other games are Venn diagram games?
There's several.
Really?
They're not necessarily where they showed the Venn diagram, but definitely this crosses this. Matt Leacock's was that way for sure.
Okay.
Anyhow, so you're using this to establish connections between different cards. So you're actually using the Venn diagram, not so much what matches all the different categories. And I find that to be interesting.
Yeah, okay, so that's cool.
This might work well. I'm looking forward. This is coming from the op. So.
Okay, good.
Very cool.
Alrighty, now we have an expansion for The Hunger. I didn't know The Hunger had done well enough to warrant an expansion. But if you haven't played, this is High Stakes is the name of this expansion, which is a little weird the way this box is laid out because that name is very small at the bottom.
It does not seem like the title of this box, does it?
Yeah, but anyway, The Hunger
it seems like the person who illustrated it, their name is High Stakes or something. I mean, I know that stuff is across the top, but it just, I agree. That's a very strange place to put the name of this box I'm looking at. This box, to me, is called The Hunger.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I don't get that.
Well, The Hunger is the base game. It's by Richard Garfield and from Renegade. It is a deck-building, push-your-luck game that has a lot of similarities to Clank to the point where you wonder why you're playing it because Clank is about 10 times better. Unfortunately, no, it's just, look, I don't think much of The Hunger, actually. I think there's some flaws in the game, and it also doesn't play super fast. It's a deck-building game, but you keep adding cards to your deck that aren't that useful.
Does Clank have a Venn diagram, though? I don't think so, baby.
All right. Pendragon Game Studio has announced Escape from New York. This is based on the cult John Carpenter film. If there's a movie that you remember from your childhood, there will be a board game made about it.
Yep,
absolutely. Will be blood, yes. Snake Plissken, baby, he's back.
I gotta play Snake Plissken in this game, man.
Snake.
I'm sorry. I'll wait for the Escape from L.A. game.
No.
So basically the same game, because those two movies are basically the same.
Yeah, I Escaped from New York. I'm playing this one.
Don't get too excited, folks. The Kickstarter for this, or actually it says crowdfunding, so it might go to GameFound. The crowdfunding campaign is happening in Q4 of this year, so if the crowdfunding campaign's happening, it's going to be a long time before you see it.
Okay. They're announcing it now just because it's so timely. They don't want you to forget about the movie. You know what I mean? It just came out not that long ago.
I'm surprised they haven't remade this movie yet. It feels like that's on the radar at some point.
It does seem like they're about to make. Actually, there was buzz at one point, and don't tell me why I know this. I was listening to a podcast, but there was a buzz of them making a third movie, and it was some ridiculous, like I think it was called Escape from Earth.
Escape from Topeka?
I think it was called Escape from Earth, and it was about, I guess, Snake Plissken literally leaving the planet. And I don't know if that's ever going to be made or not, but yeah, I'm down for another one of these awful movies. They're campy. Very campy.
All right. Reiner Knizia and Cosmos have announced My Island. So this is a successor to his 2020 game My City, which was a legacy-style flip and place game in the roll and write genre. This is another legacy game, also using polyomino tiles to build a city. Has a 24-chapter campaign with new rules and components, so I assume this will do just as well as My City, which did pretty well. I think it was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. It was, yes.
I'm pretty sure it was,
So. Yeah.
I don't know that they needed to put houses on hex tiles so that showing that they're coming down onto the island. I don't know if they needed to do that.
That is a little weird. That's that thing that Zee hates when they make. They put the design of they make a board game piece come into your art.
It's no, really. The rest of that composition, fine. That is very odd indeed.
Yeah, it's like, hey, wink, wink. It's a game, and we're like, no, we know, we got it. You can just don't wink at us. You know what I mean? Sell me the theme. Don't then be like, also, this guy is shaped like a meeple. Can you see? He's actually an actual meeple. I'm like, no, I know. But you should draw him like a dude. Don't break the theme for me. I'm already struggling with your thematic, stretching here. I'm not a fan of that. And you're right. The weird sci-fi ships coming in. That looks like a ship from Eternals coming in over there.
That's true. That is what that looks like. Oh, man, this game's going to be boring if that's the case. All right. Lucky Duck has made a couple announcements. First, Pocket Detective Season 1. And this has 3 card games in it where you're talking to witnesses to get clues to solve a crime. The games are progressive, so you have to play each one. I can't tell if this needs an app. It doesn't say it does.
Why would you think it needs an app?
Lucky Duck.
Well, because Lucky Duck has used apps in a lot of their games, especially their detective games like
Chronicles of Crime.
Right. I mean, this looks just like a card game. I mean, box size and 29.
Oh, also because I can see Chronicles of Crime in the background here. It says 2400. So maybe that's why it's in my mind too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is more, I think. I mean, it looks like it's more under those just like you solve a crime with a deck of cards, and then you move to the next one, which is linked. That's kind of a cool thing. I've never seen that. One crime is linked to the next one in a deck of card play.
Yeah, that's cool.
And another reason I mentioned the app is because our next game, Dark Quarter, which is Van Ryder working with Lucky Duck, which is a really good combination for me.
Oh, man, yes.
This is an app-driven game of supernatural mystery set in 1980s New Orleans. That's really cool. That's a really cool theme. It's coming out later this year. They're going to be doing a Kickstarter campaign next month for this. You're investigators for the Beaumont Agency working together to solve mysteries, but they're mundane crimes with a bit of a mystical edge, a bit of supernatural in. And you have personal issues as yourself as an investigator. So an app drives this game over a series of linked scenarios.
Wow.
So
if this game is coming out this year, Tom, and they're saying it might be coming out this year, right? Because there's a Kickstarter campaign launching next month. We recently did a top 10 games we were looking forward to. I forgot about this one because I've seen this cover before and heard about it a little bit. I am beyond psyched for this. Coming off of, this is the same designer, I believe, as Detective City of Angels. And you combine that and how neat that game is with Lucky Duck's technology and their mastery of using an app in game.
I agree.
I am diving in this thing hardcore. This thing looks original, looks really neat. Yeah, I'm all in, man.
And it's got Snake Plissken in it. It's great.
Snake Plissken's in it?
Right there. That's him.
Doesn't it?
What's his name? What's the actor? It's just
Kurt Russell.
That's Kurt Russell.
That is Kurt Russell.
Come
yes.
on.
Escape from New Orleans.
The Dark Quarters with Snake Plissken. Come on.
All right. I mentioned that there was 2 hot games talked about a lot of game. I'm sure there's more, and I'll hear about it. But this is another one. Leader Games announced Ahoy, since all their games have 4 letters in them.
Of course they do.
This is another asymmetrical game. It's pirates. You're going to have a goal. One player is trying to conquer islands, setting up colonies. Another one is doing a pickup and delivery. And so each one has something different, and they change the value of islands for others.
Okay, cool.
I heard it's not as complex as, say, Root is, which is fine by me, and of course has the same artist, you can tell there. I'm pretty psyched about this.
Oh, this might be my my second Leader Games game, because the other ones are a little too much so far for me to really sort of buy my own copy and dig into them. And I like Fort. Fort is really a very light game compared to Root and
Oath.
Yeah, Oath, yeah, especially Oath. But this one, I really like Pirates. I really like the idea of us using the same board to do very different things and changing things for each other inadvertently sometimes, I'm sure. Yeah, this looks and sounds really neat.
I hope it's lighter than Root and Oath.
Do these guys use crowdfunding? I forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not always. Not always. So I don't know if it's going to crowdfunding or not. I think it is, but it might not be. They haven't done it for all their games, but I think I might be wrong. Maybe they have. Well, we'll see. All right, our last game here, which is a surprise to me, is Empire's End from Brotherwise Games. And the reason it surprises me is because the designer is John D. Clare, who I thought was like just wrapped up and sewn up by AEG.
Mm-hmm.
And the artwork by Quanche Moria. This is a good combo. I like John D. Clare's stuff, and I like Quanche Moria's art. Brotherwise Games has good production values. This is interesting. It's like No Thanks, where there's a tragedy coming, a disaster coming. You're all civilizations at the top of your game. Disasters are coming, and you're basically bidding to not have the disaster hit your civilization.
Huh. Okay.
If you do get hit, you get the bids from everybody else, and you get new abilities for your people, because hardship breeds innovation.
I love this cover so much.
I like everything about this. I like the cover. I like the designer. I like the artist. I like the company. I like the theme.
Yep, playing it.
That's cool. I wonder if it'll have clear cards, or if AEG at that point comes knocking on his doors like, John D. Clare, how dare you, sir?
How dare you?
All right. Okay. Well, sorry I'm choppy here in audio, but I'm still excited about this. All right, folks. That's the news. Let's keep going.